So the one thing I'm scared about going into this game for offensively is them blitzing us. Volson ends up on his butt, and we're not able to move the football. Right? That's my first thing I would be most scared about going into this game. And then I see this article here, and usually when I see articles, I just kind of blast past them. But right here, Jose Luis Sanchez III actually makes a good point and valid points to why the 49ers might not blitz us in this upcoming game. So shout out to him. Shout out to your centralvalley.com, which I believe is a 49ers website, I believe. Anyway, though, so here's what he kind of summarized has to say. Is the reason why they're not going to blitz us is because last couple weeks it has not been working for them. They play the Browns, they could not get after the Browns. They play against the, Vikings, they could not get against the Vikings. It got so bad, there was points where, Minnesota, Kirk Cousins was picking up the blitzes before the blitz happens. And Willis, as it says right here, Wilks, not Willis, Wilks, their defense coordinator, was calling these exotic blitzes, and none of them were coming home. They were all being just absolutely picked up, and they were getting shredded down the field by Jordan Addison. I mean, we got to remember that this is the Minnesota Vikings squad that didn't have Jay Jettis in that game. Their best receiver was their rookie, Jordan Addison. Yet they were still able to move the ball with ease versus this, 49ers defense. Because, again, their biggest weakness is their secondary. Their line is great. Their defensive line is great. And that's usually going to be how you beat. Well, the 49ers can beat any team is their defensive line so good. The secondary, they cover long enough for their line to get home. If they don't blitz us in this game, I don't know how they're going to play this game. Because if we look at last week, right? Seattle in the first half barely blitzed us, right? Barely blitzed us in the first half. We shredded them with 14 points. The second half, they blitzed us almost every play. We couldn't move the ball within 3 inches of ourselves. It felt like we hiked the ball and we couldn't move it. So the way to beat the Bengals is to literally all out blitz us and just have your cornerbacks play in the back end and, hope and pray that everything works out, which it has been with Joe Burrow's calf strain. But now that his calf strain is better and also he's going under center more, this is going to be an interesting concept. They just sit back there and play coverage. So here's the whole quote that, obviously comes from Wilks, their defense coordinator. So just a summary of context. No blitz calls by Wilks proved more than consequential than near the end of the first half. In that game, Wilks sent an all-out blitz third down to bring down Kirk Cousins. But Cousins recognized it early and was able to hit receiver Jordan Addison for a big play touchdown. It is a play that Wilks is holding himself accountable for. Now, that play, in all honesty, was kind of almost an interception. The ball was in the hands of the cornerback, and Addison ripped the ball out of his hands to go and, bust away a touchdown. So, in the defense of, the defense there, it was technically almost an interception. But as he says right here, I take full responsibility for that call, Wilkes said. I have to do a better job in putting the guys in a better position. We have good players, and I know that, and can't really press the issue. And with that, moving forward, it's my responsibility to do so. So I wish I could take it back. But again, I got to do better. So this week moving forward, I would say we definitely have a challenge ahead of us. And I agree with that. But I will definitely say if, they don't blitz us, they're going to find themselves in a very, very bad spot throughout this game. And now this article does go ahead and talk about in his article is that, Kyle Shanahan is not going to be, happy if this continues to become a problem. If they continue to blitz versus, teams and they aren't able to get to the quarterback, there's going to start being some head rolling here, and their defense coordinator is going to be the first guy to be looked at, right? And right now, with them coming off a 2-game losing streak, let's say they blitz us repeatedly, and they try to get after the quarterback, and they fail in this game, then their defense coordinator, 3 games losing in a row, You're starting to talk about defensive coordinator problems here because their defense is giving up way too much points against the Browns and then against the Vikings. So if they give up a lot of points versus us, then you're going to start talking about defense coordinator problems. So that's pretty much what this guy is summarizing in this article. He's saying the best bet here would not to be to blitz the Bengals. Because if you don't blitz the Bengals, then, the chances of, as defense coordinator here, you're not going to have that consequences of potentially losing your job, right? Or their defense not getting home. Now, seeing my Bengals play over the last 6 weeks, I will tell you right now, the best way to beat us is to blitz us. But again, we also haven't seen Joe Burrow at this level of health throughout the whole entire season so far. He is almost 100% back. Then you also have the fact we're going to go under center more, right? So there are different factors that we're going to see in this game where this offense is going to be completely different than what we have seen throughout the last 6 weeks of the season. And we also are coming off a bye week. But also, for their side, if they're going to just sit back there and try to play coverage, I don't think it's going to work. Their secondary, I don't think is good enough to shut down Jamar Chase. And if you give Joe time to throw the ball and you're trying to just, cover Jamar Chase for 4, 5, 6 seconds, it's not going to work. We're going to double team Nick Bosa, and we're going to try to play one-on-one with the rest of that defensive line. And if you blitz us, if you send 3 or 4 men every single play, we're going to shred you in that game. I'm just going to tell you that right now. The way for the 49ers to beat us is to blitz us, is to put pressure on us. And that's usually when the problems will start happening. Because I think our defense can, for the most part, do a decently good job, if not a above good job, in this game versus their offense. I'm real scared about their defense versus our offense. I'm always scared of their defense. They have one of the best defenses in the NFL. So I don't know if I agree with this article when it says that, they shouldn't blitz us. I think that what's going to happen is we're going to see a lot less blitzes probably throughout this game. We're not going to see it happening like Seattle did last week, where it was constantly over and over and over again. But let's be honest, the defense coordinator, he's going to look at the tape. He's going to watch a game tape last week versus Seattle. He's going to say, wow, the first half, the Bengals were moving the ball. The second half, they couldn't do anything. Well, what's the difference? They started blitzing them. So, I get it. I get the point of view this guy is trying to make is listen, it's not working. And if it's not working, he's trying to figure out something to fix the problem. Well, fixing your problem this week is probably the opposite of what you want to do. Because if you sit back there and say, we're not going to blitz Joe, we're going to give Joe all day to throw it, and we're just going to beat him by, covering their guys, you're not going to stop T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd if you give Joe time. I'm sorry, but that's not going to happen. We might not be able to run the ball as efficiently because you have a good defensive line, but you're not going to sit back there and give Joe all day and think you're going to skate by with a win. It's not going to happen. Anyway, guys, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.